And when we get to that agenda item, certainly we'll introduce you and turn it over to you. But we are in between meetings right now. We have not yet begun the workshop meeting. So once we get the information, everybody is up, we can begin.
Well, we know that Cal is in attendance. Brian, Terry, Jen. And I also received and understand the change in the agenda, Brian.
Okay, great.
Terry.
I just got the good news that they're opening a Culver's right across from Wrigley. Apparently that makes big news in our household.
Where's it going to be located?
Right across from Wrigley.
Well, we're big fans of Culver's.
I know, the cheese curds, good Lord. Mm-mm-mm.
Hi, Terry.
And the, hello, is that, who said that? Larry?
Yeah.
Oh, Larry, I
Good
need
to see
you,
a
man.
familiar face.
Same, I need you. We have a halftime opening in our school district for an orchestra teacher. We have so many kids starting to play that we don't have enough teachers.
I can't work till tomorrow. I'm real busy tonight.
Okay.
Well, Jenna's here. We're waiting for Brian Kaplan.
We need some of your proteges to come help us teach our Deerfield students.
Oh my God. Yeah. What a mess, huh?
Yeah,
What
not enough
happened?
teachers.
Who was the orchestra teacher?
No, we have 3 orchestra teachers and we need another half a person.
Half a person. I
Yeah.
would qualify for half a person.
Well,
How
we,
What are you talking about?
we're talking about like 75 4th and 5th graders.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Or we could talk offline about that.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good job for 4 halves of persons.
Yeah.
I have not met Jennifer. Hi, Larry Block.
Nice to see you, Larry.
Nice to meet you.
Well, it is 6:05, so
6:05. What's the agenda? Is the agenda changed? Should I come back later, or what's the story?
No. You're just fine where you are. We're going to give Commissioner Kaplan a few more seconds to
Okay.
come. And if he doesn't, then we'll start and go through a few things. All right. It's 6:06. So I will call to order the workshop meeting of the Park District of Highland Park on Tuesday, January 11, 2022 at 6:06 p.m. Pursuant to Section 7E of the Open Meetings Act, the President of the Board of Park Commissioners has made a finding that it is not practical or prudent to hold in-person meetings because of the COVID-19 public health emergency. Neither the elected officials nor the public will be allowed to attend regular or committee meetings in person, but will participate virtually. Links to the virtual meeting can be found on the Park District website. Roxanne, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein,
Here.
Commissioner Freeman,
Here.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Here.
Vice President Grossberg,
here.
President Ruttenberg.
I am here, thank you. Are there any additions to the agenda, Executive Director Wilms?
No additions from staff.
Okay. Next, is there anyone from the public attending tonight's meeting other than Larry?
Looks
There
like
are, so Chad and David Sogan are, but neither of them have their hands raised.
Okay. I will read this announcement. Anyone wishing to speak will need to use the raise hand function in Zoom to indicate that they would like to speak. The board secretary will call on registrants who have activated the raise hand feature in alphabetical order. And we have none, is that correct? Who've raised their hand?
No, it turns out David just raised his hand.
Okay, David. Do you wish to speak?
It's muted.
Yes,
Okay, how about now?
that's fine. And we're going to ask you to please proceed. Try and,
Going back to the temporary fixed, I mean, it's been, if we have to get this thing done, if it's 2 years, that's a real big loss. We have so much momentum right now with these donations and people and the loyalty program. It would be devastating if we didn't get this year in. And don't even staff it. Save money that way. This year, don't staff it, down there, and we'll do our own boats. And don't forget, last year was closed, so it was never staffed. So there was a huge savings there last year.
hey, can I ask a question? That doesn't sound like David Sogan to me.
Yeah.
It's Peter Mordini. I'm on his link by accident because he sent it to me.
Oh, okay, Peter. Thank you. Thank you. Please, thank you for correcting that.
Yeah, I tried in the beginning, but it was muted.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Is there anyone else? Oh, now it says Peter Mordini. Okay. All right.
Nobody else, Roxanne, just confirming?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Peter. At this point, Director Carr will introduce Larry Block of the Highland Park Strings.
Good
Okay.
evening, everyone. Larry, I'm just going to do a quick introduction. I'm going to then pass the stage to you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, as you might recall, in December, the Board of Commissioners approved affiliate and sponsored organizations agreements. The sponsored agreement with the Highland Park Strings was approved with the exception of the financial stipend that was requested by the Strings. So tonight, the founder and general manager of the Highland Park Strings, Larry Block, is here to provide the board a brief presentation on the Strings, as well as why they've requested the financial support from the Park District. Staff is not requesting a decision be made tonight from the board regarding the stipend, rather just an opportunity for the board to hear the presentation and ask any questions. So at this time, I'm going to hand the stage over to Larry.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank-
Larry, please go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity, as difficult as it may be, to speak with you. I hope that the season brochure of the Highland Park Strings has been distributed to each of you. I brought some copies to Roxanne. If not, I urge you to find one because it really tells the Highland Park Strings story. We were founded 43 years ago, believe it or not. I was only 4 years old at the time. And with the help of the Highland Park District, Sylvia Delman, Pete Kokas, and the public was amazed that within the Parks District's budget, there would be some money for performance of music. And 12 of us gathered together at West Ridge, and our first concert was a Christmas concert in December of 1979. There were 25 people there, and we played in the I don't know what it's called, multi-purpose room now, or gym, which had been provided to us as a rehearsal space. And there were 25 people there. 24 of them were my family. Anyway, since that time, we've presented, I don't know, over 200 concerts. And I always embarrass you guys by asking how many have you seen. But if you have not been to one of the concerts, which are now played regularly at the Highland Park High School, you would be stunned. In pre-COVID times, we would get 800 or 900 people. Last year we lost completely, but we started again in October of this year, of 2021. And we played a concert in October and one in December. And believe it or not, despite driving rainstorms in October and frigid cold in December, we still get 400 or 500 people. And for all 43 years, the Park District has been our primary support. We received a stipend. It's varied over the years. It started, I think, around $20,000 a year. Then it got dropped to $10,000, and we were urged to start a benefit concert. And now for 20 years, we've been playing a benefit concert in February at Ravinia, and that is coming up again. But as you could imagine, things are difficult for musicians, for theater, for all of the arts, and our audience is composed primarily of seniors. To hear the kind of music that we perform, they would have to go downtown. It would be a $200 afternoon, assuming they could drive down. Here they can come to the high school, park free, come in and listen to music played by at the highest level possible. What we do is not done anywhere in the country. And every concert for 40 years, I have started by saying, this is presented by the Park District of Highland Park. And I can't imagine the goodwill it has generated for the Park District. For, a fairly modest, really, contribution. We operate, we have no employees. I do most of the staff work. We do have to pay now about 80% of the musicians, people like me who were lawyers, doctors, and did this for fun. We still have 8 or 10 musicians who volunteer their services and then make contributions on top of that. But it's unique. It's unique in the country. There is no orchestra of our quality playing free concerts for the public. And I wish I could share with you the letters I get and the emails I get from seniors who say, what an incredible concert. This year, if you can get a hold of a copy of the brochure, you'll see that we've been concentrating on young, rising artists. And there are so many talented young people. We had 2 young cellists in October. One was 10 years old, believe it or not, playing music that I've worked on for 70 years and couldn't play. Anyway, and then in December, we had a senior at Lake Forest High School play the piano. Fabulous, wonderful. So I'm thrilled to continue to be an affiliate of the Park District. Fortunately, the things that we used to depend on the Park District for are no longer needed. We have rehearsal space at Trinity Church. The Saints, which is an organization that provides ushers, now provides ushers for us. You guys used to do that. Employees of the Park District used to serve as ushers. And But we need some financial help. Everything costs, to rehearse at Trinity, we have to pay for the rehearsal space. Ravinia provides the Bennett Gordon Hall for our benefit concert. Anybody want to guess what that costs? $7,000 for a Saturday rehearsal and a Sunday performance. Ravinia, it's rent-free, but we have to pay the stagehands. And it's double time on Sunday, time and a half on Saturday. Anyway, I am so grateful to the Park District for the help you've given us. Roxanne still keeps our mailing list for us and provides mailing labels, and I'm very grateful. And Brian, of course, is very supportive. But I would appreciate any support that you can give us financially. As I say, it was at one time 25,000. It dropped to 10. And I think maybe at a meeting like this 10 years ago, Laurie Werhane said, well, why don't we make it 15? And so it's been 15 for about 10 years. There's no magic to that number. Our budget is part of the application that we made. You can study that. And we do have some reserve, rainy day reserve, but if you can find some line item for us, it would be greatly appreciated. And I will, of course, tell our audience of 400 or 500 people that it's the Park District that is providing this music for you. That's my story. Any questions?
Well, thank you. Appreciate the explanation and the background. Do any of the commissioners have any questions or any comments? We're not going to address a stipend tonight. That will be at a separate session. This was an opportunity for Larry to provide us with this background. So do we have any questions, starting with Cal?
I have no question. Larry got a tremendous presentation. I appreciate everything you do for the strings and for the community at large. So thank you.
Thank you, Cal.
Jen?
No questions from me. Thank you.
Okay. Terry, do you have any musical notes to share?
Yeah. No, fantastic. I was interested to hear the history of a stipend that you've been given in the past and how it's changed over the years. So it definitely opened up my eyes to some things. And we all know that the artists have been hit the hardest over the last couple of years. So thank you very much, Larry.
Thank you, Terry, for all you do.
Ryan Kaplan.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that my audio video was off. I'm sorry. Larry, thank you for the presentation. I can tell you I, for one, have been to a number of your shows.
I know you have, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you
We
very
got
much.
one coming up in February 13th. Got a 20-year-old violinist playing. She's fabulous.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question. Do you
Hey,
know
I
how
wasn't
many?
done.
What,
Oh,
Terry?
sorry.
Okay,
Brian,
you can go
sorry.
ahead.
I just wanted to.
You yield the
Okay.
floor.
I yield the floor to the gentleman
Sorry.
from Eastern Highland Park.
Larry, do you know, is there a percentage of the percentage of musicians in your group that is from Highland Park?
Yes, that's a good question. We have, at the moment, it's changed over the years, obviously. And by the way, one of the things I think that the park can relate to is not only is the audience benefiting from this, but the players. This has given many opportunities to people who wouldn't have an opportunity to play in a community orchestra. I would say I actually submitted part of the application as a list of the members. I think now we have maybe 10 from Highland Park.
And do you have a traditional size symphony? What would you say?
Well, we have a core group of about 30. string players, violin, viola, cello, bass. And we rehearse 4 or 5 times before the concert. And then we bring in winds, woodwinds and brass, who are not members, are not amateurs living in Highland Park, because they only get one rehearsal with us. And, so the vast majority of the members are strings, and at least a third of them live in Highland Park. And it's always been that way. And when we started, there were 10 or 12 of us in Highland Park who wanted to do this.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Commissioner Kaplan. I see the floor back to you.
Terry, I assume you yield back to Commissioner
I
Kaplan.
yield back to the
Yeah,
man from
I can't
McCraren.
even get a gentleman out of you.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
And the gentleman from McCraren.
Brian Kaplan, do you have anything else?
No more.
All right, thank you.
No
Larry,
more tomfoolery.
thank you for your presentation.
Oh, my pleasure.
We appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you for the opportunity, and any help would be deeply appreciated.
Thank you. We
Go ahead,
understand.
thanks.
All right. Sunset Woods Playground renovation project update. Manager Schwartz.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. All right, can you see my presentation?
Now we can, yes.
All right, great. So I'm going to provide a brief update on our progress at Sunset Woods Park Playground. So far, or in 2021, we've completed site prep work, demolition, removals, grading, drainage, and in progress, we have concrete and masonry work, as well as some playground and amenity equipment installation. Construction is going to slow down quite a bit over the next month or two due to the cold weather, but we expect for the construction to pick back up in March. So just some pictures, the 2 to 5 primary play structure has been installed. The swings and curbs have been installed. We have one of the group spinners in the 5 to 12 age group playground installed. And you can see that they're going to continue working on perimeter curb installation throughout as weather permits. And so we have some framing work there, and there are some thermal blankets if concrete is poured to keep it at the proper temperature. Most of our playground equipment has been delivered. So most of the bracket has been delivered. So those large crates on site are holding our equipment. And those are the highlights. Are there any questions?
Commissioner Bernstein.
No question, very excited.
Thank you.
Commissioner Freeman.
No questions. Looks good though.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Great presentation. Thank you.
Vice President Grossberg.
I just want to know if we're going to have a launch party.
We can work with Liz and the marketing team on what that looks like.
Oh
And
yeah.
get back to you.
I think we all got the pun about the rocket.
Thank you.
And I have no questions. Thank you. It was a good presentation. It's an exciting project.
Great, thank you. I'm going to
All
stop
right.
share.
And then we can go on to approval of the Yes, we did that. Westridge Park Site and Building Update.
Yes. All right.
Same presenter.
All right, can you see my presentation?
Yep.
All right, so we are working to finalize our team for the new community center and site design at Westridge Park. And during tonight's presentation, I'm going to walk through upcoming dates. I'm going to preview the format of the architecture and engineering proposal that we are working on with Halliburton Root. And I'll run through next steps for getting a construction management firm on board for pre-construction services. So on December 15th, you may or all recall that the park board interviewed the top 2 firms from the RFQ process and selected a top firm to proceed with negotiations, Highland Root. We are currently in negotiations with that team, Highland Root, and expect to present a cost proposal to the Finance Committee on the 20th. The goal is to have a contract in place by the end, or approved by the end of February. So let me run through the proposal. So the proposal will be divided into 5 tasks: validating, confirming the why, where, and what, and then designing the how. So task 1 seeks to validate how we got here, where we are going, and redefines why this project is a priority and what community needs it will address. It will also briefly re-explore partnership opportunities. During this phase, we will look back and incorporate past planning efforts such as Greenprint, the Athletic Field Master Plan, and the Attitude and Interest Survey results. During task 2, the team is going to assess and confirm the location and placement of the building. The objective of task 3 is to create a pro forma for programs and services that justify spatial needs based on cost services, financial cost recovery, and meeting a mission critical community need. During task 4, the team will develop a preliminary concept design through collaborative stakeholder engagement. And at this point, the team will develop renderings and 3D animation, which we've seen a little bit from Highland Root. The information gathered during this task will inform and guide task 5, which will encompass the standard design processes for new construction. So schematic design, design development, construction documents, etc. At the January 20th Finance Committee, we're going to have costs and a timeline associated with these 5 tasks. So pre-construction services, we are working to get a construction management firm on board for pre-construction services. The goal of this contract is to create a structure of checks and balances from the first day of the project. The pre-construction scope tasks the construction manager to provide an accurate cost estimate or to provide accurate cost estimates through the design process and to guide the project towards a more efficient, cost-effective building method and materials. The contract is going to be based on hourly rates, and we estimate that contract will, or expenses will range from $5,000 to $25,000. We are targeting to issue the RFP tomorrow. We are going to ask for proposals to be returned later this month, and staff will review the submissions and create a short list to interview. Staff will interview those finalists on February 7th and 8th and target to award on February 22nd. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Can we? At what point do you see involving members of the board in the selection of the project manager?
I'm going to let Brian answer that question.
So we will review what Amalia just presented at the Finance Committee next week. Again, we can do interviews in 2 different ways. Typically, staff interviews construction management firms and shares the assessment of those construction management firms with the board, and then makes a recommendation. If the board is interested in a different process, we can discuss at the Finance Committee meeting, or certainly share that today, or share that with you separately. If the board is interested in being involved with any other components such as interviews, we can make those requests based on what the needs are.
I prefer that we discuss it at the Finance Committee unless there's some objections. I'll ask the chairman of the Finance Committee if he is in agreement with that.
That's fine. If it's okay with the other members of the Finance Committee, let's add this to the agenda of the next meeting.
Well, hearing no objections, I guess the answer is yes. Okay. Amalia, I do have one other question. Are there are there a significant number of people that we're aware of that we've had experience with, or that others in our world have had experience with that might have been recommended?
Yes, we are looking at construction management firms that we've worked with in the past, and we're also communicating. I know Brian has been in contact with other park districts, so we are exploring other firms that we have not worked with, but have worked within park district industry, and also we've received some interest from other firms that know about this project.
Good. So any questions for Amalia? We'll start with Commissioner Grossberg.
No questions, thank you.
Brian Kaplan?
No questions, thank you.
Jen?
None from me.
Okay. Cal?
No question.
Okay, good. Thank you, Amalia.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the approval of the 2022 amended board meeting calendar. Executive Director Romes to present.
Yes, this will be brief. So in November, the park board did approve the annual meeting calendar, which is required to do per the Open Meetings Act for the year. At the December meeting, the board made the request to move the meetings from Tuesdays to Wednesdays. So the approved meetings, the approved meeting calendar that was approved in November will then have to be presented to the park board and reapproved. If it is approved this evening, we would begin meeting on Wednesdays starting January 26th, which would be the next regular park board meeting. We are also required by Open Meetings Act to do a posting do a publication with 10 days notice to the community in the newspaper and then on our website, letting them know that the meeting dates have changed. So what we're looking for tonight is approval from the park board to make that change to the calendar. And that's all I have to present. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, let's see. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hand rather than going around the room. Cal?
Yes, my only question is, I noticed in the earlier presentation with regard to Moraine Park that there's a meeting scheduled for March 22nd. Can you just confirm that that's spring break? And I would prefer just for the community, for us who are going on spring break, I'll be in Daytona Beach probably, but for the rest of us, that we're not meeting during spring break.
That is not my spring break. I know that. We're the next week after that.
I looked it up. I looked up District 112 and it was that week.
I don't, unless we're different than them, ours starts the next week, like the 25th-ish.
Let me see what District 113.
Why don't we let Executive Director Romes look into that? Are there any other questions or comments about this meeting date change? Nobody raising their hand? All right, is there a motion to approve the 2022 amended board meeting calendar?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roxanne, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Vice President Grossberg,
No,
and President Ruttenberg.
Yes, the motion carries.
Terry, just noting District 113 is also the same week.
okay.
All right.
I don't think mine is.
All right. Now, Executive Director Romes will now present the approval of changes to policy number 2.06 regarding meetings.
Yes. Our policy manual does state that meetings will take place on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. So now that we've approved a Wednesday calendar, you'll change that policy to say that it will be on the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. Of course, in situations that Cal just mentioned, you can always change one meeting based on factors such as holidays or spring break, things like that is conflicting. But generally speaking, this policy speaks to board meetings on Wednesday. So, that's
Is
the
there a motion to approve the changes to policy number 2.06 regarding meetings?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Roxanne, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein,
aye.
Commissioner Freeman, Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Vice President Grossberg,
Yes.
President Ruttenberg.
I vote yes, the motion carries. Now, the highlight of the evening will be the presentation of the vouchers.
Okay, good evening, everyone. In your packet, you have all the vouchers for the past month, and the packet was not real big, and basically people are on vacation during December, and we also ask people to refrain from spending during the couple of weeks around the year-end close to help us make sure that we get expenses into the proper fiscal year. And so with that, the largest expenditure in this packet was our monthly insurance payment to Paderma for about $157,000. And Billy, I have nothing else to share unless there's any questions about the packet.
Does anybody have any questions? Just raise your hand if you do. Seeing none? Thank you.
Thank you.
Other business. Brian Romes, is
I
there
just
any
have
other
one
business?
thing. We don't typically do updates at workshop meetings like this, but I thought the timing was appropriate. Next Monday, January 17th is the 13th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. That, as you all know, is hosted by the City of Highland Park, the Human Relations Advisory Group, as well as the Park District of Highland Park. We are a proud sponsor and partner for that event, which is typically held at the Recreation Center of Highland Park, but this year will be held virtually due to COVID-19. And so obviously one of our vice presidents, Terry Grossberg, is obviously intimately involved with the planning of that event, and certainly will be contributing the day of as well as the mayor and many, many others that Vice President Grossberg, if you want to add any context to what I just said, please feel free. But I did want to make sure to mention that important event that day and to encourage people to go to the city's website if they want to learn more about the agenda and to log in.
Thanks, Brian, for giving me this opening very quickly. I'll just let you know that we do have very special guests, etc., lined up. A press release is going to be coming from the city, probably be by tomorrow. In addition, that goes from 10 to 12, and then from 12 to 1:30, some of it might last till 2 o'clock. We'll have various vendors in the parking lot at the Highland Park Rec Center with collection trucks and boxes, etc., collecting all kinds of different types of things for health and beauty aids, for pads, to working bikes, to food donations. There's letter drop-offs for people intending camp for the first time. There's so many different things. So when you get a chance, Laura Fry and I are finalizing the city's website today, hopefully, and you can go live to cityhpil.com and click on some of those links and see what we have in store. We have a very cool guest speaker lined up. So I will be online on Monday. I hope you will be there too.
Thanks, Terry. Anything else, Brian Romes?
Nothing else from staff.
That covered it nicely. Annette, did you raise your hand? Oh. Should we call upon Council Member Annette?
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to say it's truly a gross understatement to say that your vice president has been involved. He's been planning this entire event. The city is unbelievably grateful. HRAG, where I'm also the liaison, which is the Human Relations Advisory Group for the city, could not have done this without his help. So I thank the Park District, but truly his assistance has been invaluable to all of us. We had to pivot. I was a little upset because this group did a lot of work to make it an in-person event. We switched it back over to being remote, but having done it before, this group really came out running. So I think it's going to be a really great event, even in these times, which is really difficult. And we are very grateful to both the Park District and especially to your Vice President Terry for his assistance in this matter. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, Annette. I appreciate it.
And the check is in the mail to her when, Terry?
You could just keep checking.
Just keep checking. Brian, is there anything else? Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board?
Nobody from staff, unless you're asking for public comments.
Yes.
There are no attendees at this point, so.
Okay. There is a, that hurt. There is a request for a closed session. I'm not sure. Are we still having a closed session? Terry's
would
nodding
like-
his head.
Yeah, I would like to take it. It should take less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
Where's
So-
that before?
Yeah, well, we have the cutoff switch. Is there a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Open Meetings Act? Section 2C1, the employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Roxanne, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Vice President Grossberg,
Yes.
President Ruttenberg.
I say yes also. So we are adjourning into closed session at, what is that? 6:43 p.m. And I understand we're supposed to leave this link and jump onto a different link.